Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Adrian football head coach Joel Przgodski. How are you?
I'm doing well, Casey. Thanks for having on. This is always kind of one of the high points of of early August here, kind of getting ready to ramp up to get into football practice. Let's talk about football. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. You know, all coaches like to talk ball. So let's actually talk some football. How are things going for you guys?
Oh, it's been a fast and furious summer as it always is. This summer feels like it's gone a little bit faster than they typically do, and I don't know if it's because maybe we got out a week later in our school year, so it feels like we lost a week, but we really didn't. Just in we were talking before we're recording here. My son's going into college now, so we've been busy doing that. So it just kind of feels like I've always had something going on. Whether it's football related or not, that just kind of made this summer go by a little bit faster. But our kids have been working hard. They're actually working out right now. I got our strength and conditioning coaches in there working with them. So I couldn't be happier with the progress they've made, and I just getting anxious to get going to the 11th here.
Okay, so I know you guys went 4-5 last year in the division in the in the 2024 season. What is the outlook for the Maples in 2025?
Yeah, we're excited with what we have coming back. I mean, we graduated a lot of three-year starters, which is a good thing, obviously. But we do have a lot of pieces coming back too, which we're really excited about. We'll get into player specifics in a little bit, but we have a nice mix of kids who have kind of been a little bit battle tested. Maybe it's only a couple games. Some of them started all 9 games last fall. And then there's some kids we're really excited about that only played a little bit here or there, or we've seen them kind of mature over the last 9 months or whatever the math may be. So we're really excited to see what we have on our hands because there's a lot of just kind of potential there, which is always a scary word when you say potential because you don't know what you're going to get. But if they continue to progress at the rate that they have been so far, we're going to have a fun year.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about the returners and some of the players to watch for your team. So let's just we'll go through them now.
Yeah, so on the offensive side of the ball, we graduated just about every skill kid we had with meaningful playing time. So you're talking tailback, quarterback, tight end, all four receivers, they're all gone. Okay, but at the same time, we've had a lot of kids who played quite a bit last year. So, a kid like a Hunter Prewo's had a good summer. Adam Parker has had a very good summer. Playing receiver for us kind of full time. I know he was trying to play quarterback a little bit last year, and very excited to see what skill set he brings after being with us for 3 years. A kid by the name of Luke Bruggeman played a little bit at running back last year, wasn't the starter, but got some meaningful reps, and he's going to take over the full time role as a sophomore. We're extremely excited at the size and speed that young man is right now as a 10th grader. Very, very thrilled with that. But coming in, we bring back all five offensive linemen who started our week 9 game. And four of them started every single game last fall. So our right tackle kind of stepped in due to injury late in the season, and he was very productive for us the last few weeks. So very pleased with them. And that being said, I mean, two of them will be seniors. Yandel Hernandez will be a 2-year starter, and Riley Grayer will be a 3-year starter. And the other three will be juniors. So it's like we started a very young offensive line last fall and, kind of went through our bumps and bruises with that. But at the same time, I think that's going to all of a sudden become a strength for us heading into this fall. So very pleased with their progress and how they've kind of been working hard all summer. And excited to see kind of what our run game can do for us this fall. Moving to the defensive side of the ball, we bring back, quite a few guys with a lot of playing time, especially in our front seven. I believe we have five of them are returning starters or played a lot of meaningful minutes. Guys like Lamont McKinney has had a fantastic summer. He was a starter for us on the interior. He can play both end and in the interior. Same with Antonio Lewis. So, I mean, they might look undersized. They're stronger than you think, and they're a lot faster than you think, which is going to be kind of the name of our game this year. If we're going to be a little bit smaller than most of the schools we play, I think our speed will surprise people. And we have John Breckel at linebacker. He's had a phenomenal summer. He's put on a little bit of weight, which I know is a little bit of a difficulty at time for wrestlers. It's kind of bucking that trend a little bit, but he has filled out nicely and he's had an awesome summer and he's kind of coming into his own and taking on a much larger leadership role for us. Christian Aravello Faust has had a good summer for us as well. Also another inside linebacker. And then it's kind of that back end outside of Cooper Howard, who's a returning starter at free safety, started last year as a sophomore for us. We don't really kind of know what we have in the rest of them because they're going to be, first year starters for us. So kind of whoever wins that other safety spot or either corner spot, they're going to have to earn it because we have a lot of bodies there, but not a lot of experience. So you don't really know what you're going to get until, week 1, 2, or 3 rolls around.
Absolutely. Let's go to special teams. What's the kicker situation looking like?
All right, luckily that's one area we do have somebody coming back in. Zach Hassan has been a kicker for us since his freshman year. He's going into his senior year. He kind of had a little bit of a knee injury, which is going to prevent him from playing receiver and defensive back for us because he was a starter for us last year at both spots. But he's still able to kick. And I mean, the ball explodes off his foot. I mean, so we're very thrilled with that. Hopefully, knock on wood, we win the field position battle on kickoffs and field goals and PATs and all of that. But we graduated our punter and both our long and short snappers. I mean, we've been very good on special teams, so we're going to have to kind of retool that a little bit and identify a few of those kids. Got a little bit of a punter battle, if that's such a thing. I don't know if I've ever said that before. Got a couple kids trying out for that, and I'm very happy with where they're at, but we just got to see who's going to consistently be able to get it up in the air with the hang time we're looking for. So we're thrilled with our kickers. Our return men will be fine. We graduated Isaiah Fox and Tyler Bruggeman, two guys with kickoff return for touchdowns in their columns. But we'll identify somebody. We'll be fine in the return game as well.
All right. We've talked about the kids. Now it's time to talk about the upcoming schedule. It is starts off August 28th, home against Dundee, September 5th at Jackson Northwest, followed by September 12th at Chelsea, September 19th, home against Pinckney, September 26th at Ypsi Lincoln, October 3rd, home against Tecumseh, October 10th at Ypsi Community, October 17th, home against Jackson, and finishing out the regular season on the road against New Boston Huron. So pretty good schedule. Of course, the big difference this year, one more conference opponent. I should say the return of Ypsi Lincoln to the white. Overall, how's the schedule looking?
Yeah, we're thrilled with our schedule. We ended up with 4 home games and 5 road games again, which is what it is. It's going to happen every other year. It's just kind of a bummer when it's back-to-back years, but it is what it is. You can't really control that when you have an odd number of non-conference games. So we're thrilled with it. We really are. I mean, it's fun to open the season at home against Dundee, a school we've never played before. We've seen them. We threw with them last summer, and I understand there was a different staff, but we have an idea of what kind of athletes they have. And Coach Carpenter's there now. He'll do a nice job of instilling his culture and what he wants done. So we think that'll be a nice test for us going into that second week against Jackson Northwest. We used to be at their 4-way scrimmage. Obviously, we're not going to be there this year, now that we're playing them. But we kind of know what Coach Stafford does with his program. They got good-looking kids. They play hard. They play the right way. So, I mean, that'll be another nice little test going into our conference schedule, which we get the big dog right away with Chelsea. And I wouldn't have it any other way. A lot of people are like, oh, you want to play them later? I was like, no, I want them the first conference game right away. Let's just see what we have and where we're at. And that'll be a tough test for us. Coach Dean does a phenomenal job. That program I've said it before, it feels like it runs itself. You know what you're going to get when you go up to Chelsea. And then, the rest of our conference schedule is what it is. I mean, it's week in and week out. You're going to have to prepare your kids. It's a well-coached conference. I don't care what anybody says. They look at, oh, this school's down versus that school. It's guys, you better come with your helmet strapped up because you're going to have to get after it week in and week out. There's no off weeks. And then we were thrilled when we got to sign New Boston Huron to end the schedule, or end the season, I should say, end the regular season, I'm hoping. They're a well-coached club out of the Huron League. I respect the heck out of their athletes. Like the year I coached at Milan, I got to see them up front and personal, and they're good. They're very similar to us. They're just a little bit of a bigger school than us, not by much, but just a little bit. Very similar school dynamic. A lot of good athletes, good size, and again, we're hoping it's a nice test going into the playoffs for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go to the next few weeks of what it's going to look like for this program. I mean, last week kind of wrapped up the summer schedule. Now I know I know you can't do any football activities this week, but you still can do conditioning and all that other stuff. I know a lot of teams use this week to hand out equipment so they don't have to do as much before the first day of practice. But also it's also a week where a lot of coaches use to, tell the kids, okay, hey, go enjoy the last week of summer. And then because when the 11th comes, it's full on until the end of the year.
Oh yeah, no doubt. No, it's I love the way we set up our summer programming and schedules, weightlifting, all that stuff. Our kids are still able to work out this week, so we have our weight room going right now from 8 till about 9:30, 10-ish. We'll condition the kids, nothing too crazy, but at the same time, nothing we're doing this week is mandatory by any means. So we have probably a third of our kids are gone. Whether it's on vacation, they're at work, they're doing whatever else kids want to do. I'm sure some of them are just sleeping in because they want a day off, which again, that's fine this week, not a big deal. But we still want to have the weight room open for those kids who want to come in and get a lift in. So I know some programs just shut it down completely, and that's great. That works for them. We like having the option to be able to do a little bit of both. So we'll have some competition periods and things like that where our kids are able to kind of get after it with each other because we split them up into squads over the course of the summer. So it's always kind of fun to see, who wants to continue working all the way up till the 11th. So we'll have that all the way to Friday this week. We issued a lot of equipment last week, and we'll get a few of the stragglers this week. And just so again, as you mentioned, like, so we're not dealing with this on the 11th. So that's always a headache of when to pass out equipment and when not to. But majority of our guys already have all their stuff, so we're just kind of tracking them down, making sure all their physicals and paperwork are all turned in. Just like every coach has to worry about that right now. But it's been a fun couple weeks, and then as we get into the 11th. We do a modified 2-a-day schedule where we'll either lift or be on the field at 8 a.m. We'll take a little bit of a break where our parents feed our kids, and they do a phenomenal job with that. And then we're on the field for a shorter, late morning, early afternoon practice where our kids are home by 1:30, 2 o'clock. Nothing too crazy. I think we're only allowed to be on the field for 5 hours. We're well under that. And, just trying to let them rest. And hopefully, if the weather or the heat picks up, we're out of there well before the heat's an issue anyway. So we do that for that entire first week. And then we get into our scrimmage week, which is always fun, kind of going to a different one this year, which I'm excited for, but also it's going to be a little bit more challenging, kind of moving up a division, if you will, going to Dexter. That's always fun to see Coach Jacobs' team. And, we're excited at that, but that feels like it's a long ways away still.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's only a few weeks away and then the game with Dundee will be here before you know it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
absolutely. All right, Joel, thank you so much for the time as always and best of luck to the Maples this season.
I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on, and go Maples.